Hello YouTube, Felix here again, back at you with another headlight video. Salvage title approaches, and let's get it. So, this is applying to about 2000 to 2009 Subaru Legacies, maybe the same years of Outback and Forester. As you see, I already started off the video by breaking the little aftermarket clip, and here you go. But this is pretty much an easy job you can do. I did my passenger side headlights, low beams in a parking lot, and it's not too difficult. So for the passenger side, it is a little bit more difficult because you have that air ducting in the way. But the only thing holding that together are these two retaining clips. So it's not that much more difficult. It is if you break it though. So you will need a pry bar. That might help if you have an older, obviously this is an older car, so you may more than likely not even have those clips there. So if that's the case, you're already ahead of the game, because I spend a little bit of time trying to pull out this broken clip that I already broke, but I'm just gonna pry. You pry and you pray, and you have a good day. So, bada bing, and we're good. And just because it's broken doesn't mean I'm not gonna use that. So let me go put that over there on the side real quick. So to get to the low beam headlights, you're going to want to take out the air ducting, which was held together by those retaining clips. And this kind of comes out of the air box as a scoop. Like scooping motion, pull it out. You know? And then you kind of see how it is. Kind of just pull it out like that way, as such. With that air duct out of the way, you now have access to the cap that's retaining the light bulb. And you can see it right here. It's that white cap there. You see where the air box is without the air duct, and it's pretty easy to take that off. You just want to, if you're sitting in the driver's seat, it will be reverse clockwise about maybe in like a tenth of a turn, I don't know, but it should just feel easy. Nothing here should feel forced. Everything kind of just feels like it locks into place when you're doing this headlight job. So easy peasy, pull that out, and now you have access to your low beam headlight. So the only thing that's holding that in now, besides the wiring harness, is that there's a little paper clip there attached to the assembly. So it's holding it with tension, and all you have to do is kind of push it forward, push it down, and then pull it back. So you see that little tip right there? Just push it down, back, and then kind of pull it gently because it is kind of gets in line with the wiring harness. But here you have access to now your low beam. And notice there's that little notch on that headlight. There's a certain orientation that you want to put it back in, or else it won't fit. Like I said, you'll feel it because nothing should feel forced. It all should just kind of lock it together and feel flush. And it's also important how you plug the headlight back in, because the way you plug it back into the socket is also going to be how you can put the notch in correctly. Here's your you have an H7 low beam. I already placed my driver's side, and now I'm just replacing the passenger side because it's kind of ideal to replace both at the same time. But this headlight's still good, so I will be saving it for an emergency, just in case I'm on a road trip or something of the sort. So, you know, it's good to have one spare. You don't want to get a fix-it ticket for having a headlight. And like I'm showing you right now, you don't really need any tools. You can do this in the Walmart parking lot. I did my driver's side in a Walmart parking lot. So you can do it, and when it goes out, you notice it's out. It could be no problem at all. Hell, the police could pull you over. You can fix it right in front of them, and you can call it a day. And when you're pulling this out, obviously, it's kind of stuck in there. You want it to be. It's, you know, your headlight's been driving and bumping around. But you just pull it back and forth, and you can see the filament inside is still together. That's how you know the light bulb's still good, just in case you have it loose. And here's a picture of a bad one. So you're gonna see that the filament is broken where the spring and the little ball are kind of at. So that's how you know that's busted. You also see it kind of burnt there. That's another indicator of how it's not good. But you just try to throw those away. Don't try not to save those. But if you ever just kind of see having all your light bulbs loosely around for some reason in your change pan, you'll know which ones are good now. And you have to remember the orientation of how it was. So the notch is kind of facing the engine when you plug it into the socket. So that way it plugs into the puzzle piece housing, you know. And just remember, nothing's forced. Just put it in there. But So now the notch is kind of facing towards the engine. It's plugged into the lighting, and now we're just gonna put it back in and then have the tension on with the retaining clip. And one thing I noticed is you can't just push it in and then pull the clip, and you kind of have to put the light bulb and the retaining clip together at once so that it goes smooth, because it makes contact with the wire harness. So now that it's getting kind of flush, you're a little bit past the light bulb with the paper clip, and like I said, nothing feels forced. It all should feel smooth. So I'm doing this with one hand. See, one hand holding a camera. So if you can't do it, bring your friend. You're gonna have 3 hands and you can do it. You won't even need the camera. But see, it just went into that little notch, the little retaining clip. Now it's holding tension, and you should know it. You'll all feel it. There's nothing forced. And back, you put back the white cap, and it says top on it, so you'll know which one it is. And remember, it doesn't just plug in; it goes in and then screws in, like a 1/10 of a turn. So you'll know you'll have it clicked in once the cap is flushed with the housing, and you just give it that 1/10 of a turn, and then the top, the word top should be on top, and that's how you know you're good. With that, you can you can look at your air filter, notice that there's some leaks in there, and go to Rock Auto and replace them. And that's another thing, is if you pre-plan, or you should buy your headlights off of Rock Auto too, because windshield wipers and light bulbs are one of those things that they overprice, I should say. But the air ducting just kind of goes in, vertically, and then scoop it back in reverse. And don't forget to put the clips in if you have them. If you don't, the car will be just fine. But for those of you who are curious about the driver's side, why I did mostly the passenger side is you can get access to it right there. The cap is just right there. It's no problem really. The only thing in your way is really the windshield wiper reservoir, which you can pull it off the top, which I didn't know until I was doing this, and it came off. I was like, oh wow, it's pretty interesting that you can just do it like that. You don't need any tools. That's how I was able to do it in the parking lot. But if you do not want to take off the cap, maybe it's old plastic, you don't want to ruin it, there is another little clip there. You might not even have that clip too, depending on how old your car is or whoever's been working on it. So, and it's the same story for that side. And you can look at my headlights, they are not aligned. Watch my previous video on how to align them. But yeah, I did my alignment 2 feet from the wall, and then they're still misaligned. So I'm going to have to redo that a little bit later on. But for the Subaru to do it, it's not like the other video where it was a screw. This one is actually a hex. Or not a hex, but it's a 8mm bolt or socket that you'll need. And you'll just turn it clockwise and reverse clockwise to get what you need. But with that, we have both of our headlights working. We can get back on the road, and all is well in the world. And you just save yourself probably $90 if you went to a shop, because they overcharge the service on them. And fortunately, these are one of the easy ones to do. There are some cars where you have to take off the bumper to do it, like a Chevy Malibu. But like I said, we did save that light bulb that did work, so it's good to keep that in the trunk for emergencies. You never know what might happen, and like I showed you, you can just do this without really any tools on the fly. So hopefully you found this video enjoyable. Hopefully it was educational, and it might help you out one of these rainy days. But hopefully you liked the video, and pat yourself on the back for doing a good job. See you guys later.